So, good morning, students, and I welcome you all once again to the discussion over today's session of design of cantilever retaining wall. So, in the last session, I discussed about the design of heel slab, that is the part of base slab of the retaining wall. So, I'll just revise once again before going to the next calculation. Okay, so in the last session I discussed about the forces acting on the heel slab. Okay, so in that we have W3, that is the weight of backfill. So this is the W3, that is weight of the soil, and after that we have the weight of heel slab. So that is, this is the weight of heel slab, the self weight or the dead load of the heel slab we have considered, and these two forces are acting downwards. Okay, these two forces are acting downwards, and we have to deduct the upward soil pressure. This pressure distribution diagram we need to consider for deduction from downward load. So the downward load is the weight of backfill plus the dead weight of heel slab, and the upward pressure we had considered. So even I discussed about this. Okay, and if you consider the loading here, so I told you about this here, so that is 1.55 into 4.8 into 18. So this distance is 1.55, I discussed about here. So 1.55 into 4.8 into density of backfill is 18. That is the first downward load acting on the backfill on heel slab, the first downward load acting on the heel slab. Then we have the part of W2, that is the dead weight of heel slab. So that is 1.55 into 0.45 into density of concrete is 25. So here if you check, so we consider 1.55 into 0.45 into 25, and the distance from the heel slab, that is we have to consider the moment about this, because this part is fixed at the stem and this part is free, so we have to consider this part as a cantilever section. So the maximum moment will be at this face. Okay, so the maximum bending moment will be at this face, so we have to consider the distance from this. Okay, so we got 1.55 divided by 2, so we got here it is 0.775. so when you multiply this into this, we will get moment. So this is the moment by considering the backfill and self weight of heel slab. Okay, then later on we have to deduct from this the moment due to upward pressure, also the moment due to upward pressure. So for that you have to refer this pressure distribution diagram. Okay, this pressure distribution diagram, this part, because this part is representing the pressure over heel slab. This part is representing the pressure over heel slab. Okay, so we have CD, GH and L. CD, GH, L. This we have to consider. Understood? So for that I have considered one part, that is CD, GH as a rectangular and GHL as a triangular portion. So for that we have to deduct, and we have considered that for deduction. Okay, so you can check here. So we have got CD, GH and L. Okay, so for that we have to find out this height. So I have considered that is x1. So the total, for that we have to consider this symmetrical triangle here. Okay, the symmetrical triangle concept. So this is 3 meter. Okay, 3 meter by this and 1.55 by this. So we get this height, that is 107.46 minus 30.32. We get this height, total height, and you have to find out x1 here. Understood? So 3 divided by this, 1.55 divided by x1. Okay, we have got like this. So from that we get x1. So this is x1. So that is the height of the, or the base width of the triangular portion. Okay, so we got here. So for, we have to do the deduction. So for portion CDGH, so 1.55 into 30.32, correct, into the centroidal distance 1.55 by 2 again. Then next we have for GHL half base into height. We have got already base is 39.85. So half base into height. Again the centroidal distance. Now it is the base of the triangle. So from the base the centroid will be at a distance of 1/3 of height. At a distance of 1/3 of height. So height of the section is 1.55. So 1/3 of 1.55. So again after multiplication we get this. So then we have to find out the net bending moment. The net bending moment will be here the total downward bending moment minus upward due to downward force and due to upward force. So we get this moment. Then you have to make it factored. Then after making it factor you have to find out the area of reinforcement required to provide in heel slab with respect to this bending moment. So we have provided, so mu divided by FCK B is 1000 because per meter width we are calculating. So B is 1000, the effective depth is 400. So BD square. So the AST is 700 mm square, which is more than AST minimum. Okay, then fine. So we have to provide the AST only. Then we got spacing here. We have provided spacing also. So for main reinforcement we have assumed 12 mm dia bar. So the spacing is area of one bar divided by total area into B. So we got 161.41, but I'll round figure to 150 mm center to center. And after that, so this is regarding main reinforcement. We have to provide the distribution steel also. So for that you have to use AST minimum, and already we have got it. AST minimum is 540 mm square. So spacing will be again area of one bar divided by total AST into 1000. So 145 mm. So I round figure to 140 mm center to center. So therefore I have given a statement here. Hence provide 12 mm dia bar as a main reinforcement at a distance of 150 mm center to center. Correct? Then 10 mm dia bars at a distance as a distribution steel at a distance of 140 mm center to center. So this is regarding design of heel slab. Okay. So before this, what you have to do after design of stem, you have to check for shear at the base of stem. So before design of heel slab, you have to do that step. You have to follow that procedure. So before the design of heel slab, but I skipped that, so I will continue here now. So before this design of heel slab, you have to go for design of shear. Okay, check for shear at the base of stem. So today I will continue with that. So the next step is, so before design of heel slab you have to finish up that. So that is check for shear at the base of stem. Check for shear at the base of stem. Okay. So before design of heel slab, please remember before design of heel slab you have to finish up this. So or I can write shear check for stem, or you can write like this, shear check for stem. Okay. So therefore, so now the maximum shear force due to lateral earth pressure the maximum shear force due to lateral earth pressure. So as I told you, so if you have this, the pressure distribution diagram acting on stem. Okay, so here we get the maximum force if this is a stem. Okay, for a height of 4.8. So this will be the pressure distribution diagram, so that is lateral earth pressure. Understood? So we get here this as K into gamma into H. So this will be K into gamma into H. Correct? So and this is height here, nothing but this is H. Correct? This is will be H. So we get the maximum shear at the junction or at the base of the stem. The maximum shear will be at the base of the stem. Understood? So we get the maximum shear force due to lateral earth pressure V is equal to half base into height. So half base is K into gamma into H into height H. So that is the maximum shear will be K into gamma into H square by 2. Correct? So the maximum shear at the base will be area of this pressure distribution diagram. Area of this pressure distribution diagram. So it is half base is K into gamma into H, height is H. So K into gamma into H square by 2. So we will find out that. Okay. So we will be K is 0.333, gamma is 18, H is 4.8 square divided by 2. So that is K into gamma into H square by 2. So we get V is equal to 69 kilonewton and Vu is equal to 1.5 times 69. So we get this as 103.57 kilonewton. So the shear force, the factored shear force acting on the stem, that is at the base of the stem, because the maximum shear will be at the base. So 1.5 times V, so that is 103.57 kilonewton. So therefore now the nominal shear stress tau V, nominal shear stress tau V is equal to Vu by Bd. So we have got Vu is 103.57 into 10 is to 3 divided by B is 1000 and D is 400. The depth at the base, at the junction of heel slab and stem, it is 400. So 103.57 Vu by Bd. So we get tau V is equal to 0.25 Newton per mm square. 0.25 Newton per mm square. So now the value of tau V you have to cross check with tau C, that is a permissible shear stress. Okay, that is a permissible shear stress. So for that you have to refer table number 19, page number 73. Table number 19, page number 73, IS 456 2000. Okay. Now you have to go to here. Table number 19, design shear strength of concrete tau C. IS 456 2000, page number 73. Okay. Now if you check, our grade of concrete is M20. So you have to refer this column for M20 grade and you have to find out the PT also. One thing, if you check here, the minimum value of tau C for M20 grade is 0.28 Newton per mm square. The minimum value of tau C or the minimum value of design shear strength or permissible shear strength, it is 0.28 Newton per mm square. And the nominal shear stress developed in the concrete is 25 Newton per mm square. So automatically the tau V value is less than minimum value of tau C. Minimum value of tau C. Hence it is safe in shear. No need to find out the PT and to calculate the actual value of tau C. First you check for the minimum permissible value of shear strength, and if the nominal shear stress is less than the minimum value of permissible shear stress, then it is safe in shear. So here I'll write a note. So this is very important. As per IS 456 2000, page number 73, table number 19, page 73, table number 19. For M20 grade of concrete, the minimum value of design shear strength is 0.28 Newton per mm square. That is, I'll write here, that is tau C minimum is equal to 0.28 Newton per mm square. So here tau V is less than tau C minimum itself. Tau V is less than tau C minimum itself. Hence, safe in shear. The stem is safe in shear. Okay, no need to go for calculation of PT and other things. Once if you check the value of tau V, if it is less than tau C minimum, then it is safe in shear. Okay. Then next is you have to go for design of toe slab. Okay. So next is design of toe slab. Okay. The next is design of toe slab. So here the maximum movement in the toe slab is determined by taking moment of all the forces about point B. So what you have to do now here? So for design of toe slab, you have to consider this pressure distribution diagram. Okay, this pressure distribution diagram, and this is a toe slab. Okay, this is toe slab. So we have to consider all the forces and its movement, or the taking moment of all the forces about a point B. So this is, with respect to this, I can consider this is a point B. So for heel slab I have considered this. For toe slab you have to consider this. Okay. So all the forces about a point B. So this is a point B, you can see here. This is point B, about point B. Okay. So for that you have to prepare a table once again. Then here for upward pressure distribution you have to refer A, B, E, F, I, J, K. A, B, E, F, I, J and K. This part you need to consider, okay, for upward earth pressure. Okay, now we'll prepare a table here. Okay, so here load. Okay, so we have load, force in kilonewton, distance in meter, and movement will be in kilonewton meter. Okay, so the load, as I told you, so load here, first of all, due to the self weight of toe slab and the soil over the toe slab, we need to consider the soil over the toe slab and the self weight of toe slab. Then we have to consider this pressure distribution diagram. Okay, so we'll consider here. So first of all, that is first, that is self weight of slab, self weight of toe slab. First is self weight of toe slab. So the load is, the self weight is, it is 1 meter by 0.45 by 25. So we'll get this as 11.25 kilonewton. Then we have, next is soil over toe slab. If you want, you can neglect this also, soil over toe slab. So that is, height is so 1 meter and height is 1.25 minus 0.45 in density is 18. So we get this as 14.4. Okay, so if you check here, so due to toe slab, the 1 meter by height is 0.45 into density, and the soil over toe slab is 1 meter, height is 1.25 minus 0.45 into density is 18. Okay, and the distance is 1 meter by 2, so because it is 1 meter by 2 and 1 meter by 2, 0.5 and 0.5, so we get this as 5.625 and 7.2. 5.625 and 7.2. So this is due to the downward load. So we get total moment as 12.825. 12.825 due to downward load. Now we have to go consider upward pressure. Deduct due to upward pressure. Okay. Next is again deduct due to upward pressure. Deduct due to upward pressure. So upward pressure we have okay. So here you have to refer A, B, I, K and J, I, K. So I'll explain here. So A, B, E, F, I, J, K. Understood? So we have got already the height BF. BF is 30.32. Now we have to find out what is K, that is FK. FK. This height you have to find out. So I'll consider this as X2. This height from here to here I'll consider as X2. Understood? So that is F2K. So this height. So this height I'll consider as x2. This I already know. This is 30.32. This is already is 30.32. 30.32. This is 1 meter. The toe is 1 meter. 30.32 and this height is x2. Understood? So we have to consider the main is A, B, I, K, that is the rectangular portion, and I, J, K, triangular portion. Understood? So we have to find out x2 here now. So for that x2, you have to consider again similar to triangle here. So this divided by this divided by this, we can find out. Okay. So now total is 3 meter here again, or we can consider like this divided by this and this divided by this, because x1 we have got already value of x1 39.85. okay, so I'll so this is 2 meter divided by x2, so 2 meter divided by x2, because 1.55 plus 0.45 is 2, so 2 meter divided by x2 is equal to 1.55. so that is, this is 1.55 divided by x1, and x1 we have already calculated, that is 39.85. So from this we get x2 is equal to, therefore we get x2 is equal to 51.42. the value of x2 is 51.42, and because of that the total, this b2k, we get b2k, so this b2k, so that is 30.32 plus 51.42, we get, it is 81 point, so this 30.32 plus x2 we get 81.74, this height b2k. okay, b2k, because we have to consider a, b, I, k. so I got the height of bk, and the width of that is 1 meter. Now next I, j, so this height I have to find out, this height. okay, so as you know that this total height is 107.46, and if I know this value of bk, so 107.46 minus bk, so I can easily find out ij. So this total height is, from here to here it is, this total is 107.46, total is 107.46, this total is 107.46. so I know this 81.74, so I can easily find out this, that is 107.46 minus 81.74, so we get this as this height as, we get as 25.72. this is 25.72. understood? So the rectangular size is 1 meter by 81.74, and the triangular is 1 meter by 25.72. understood? So I'll calculate here, that is movement due to upward pressure, that is, first of all, upward pressure, that is first for portion ABIK, so that is ABI and K, ABIK. okay, so that is, so here it is, the force is 81.74 into 1, 81.74 into 1. So this is, we get 81.74, and the distance is here again it is 1 by 2, 1 by 2. So we get the moment is 40.87, 40.87. Okay. Then next, for portion IJK, for portion IJK. So the force is half, base is 25.72, and the height is 1 meter. So we get this as 12.86. And we are considering moment about B, so about this face. So from apex it is 2/3 of, because it is apex, 2/3 of 1, so that is 2/3 of 1. So we get the final moment as 8.57. So the total moment due to upward pressure is 49.44. 49.44. So therefore net movement is 49.44 minus 49.44 minus 12.825. So we get moment as 36.615 kilonewton meter. So this is in meter. 49.44 minus 12.85, so that is 36.615 kilonewton meter. Okay. So therefore factored bending moment mu is equal to 1.5 times 36.1.5 times 36.615. So we get mu is equal to 54.92 kilonewton meter. So we got the net factor bending moment. So now next is area of steel, that is AST. So we have to find out AST. So 0.5 FCK is 20 upon Fy is 415 into bracket of 1 minus square root of 1 minus 4.6. Mu is 54.92 into 10 is to 6 upon FCK BD square. FCK is 20, B is 1000, D is 400 square into B 1000 into D 400. So we get AST as 388.29 mm square. 388.29 mm square. So also check for AST minimum. You have got AST minimum already we have calculated. It is 540 mm square. AST minimum is 540 mm square. Okay. So here AST is less than AST minimum. So therefore AST should be equal to AST minimum. In no case AST should be less than AST minimum. If it is less than AST minimum, you have to provide AST is equal to AST minimum. Okay. So therefore again using 10 mm dia bars, so spacing already we have calculated for 10 mm dia in design of heel slab. So what it is 145.37 mm. So we have assumed or we adopt for 140 mm center to center. Okay. So you can write here note. So we have to provide both, that is the main reinforcement as well as distribution steel, same diameter, same spacing. So you can write here, hence provide 10 mm dia bars at a distance of 140 mm center to center for both that is main reinforcement and distribution steel Okay, so this is regarding design of toe slab. Then next we have to go for check for sliding, check for safety against sliding, check for safety against sliding. Okay, so here the next step is check for safety against sliding, check for safety against sliding. So what will happen generally in sliding? Okay, so when the wall subjected to lateral earth pressure, if the frictional resistance between the soil and the concrete is less than the lateral earth pressure, if the frictional resistance between the concrete and the soil is less than the lateral earth pressure, the soil try to slide or move. So that should be avoided. So that's why I have to check for safety of wall against sliding. Okay. So for that you have to find out first the total horizontal earth pressure, so that is again K into gamma into h square. So we have to find out the total height, K into gamma into h square by 2. So that is half base into height into that is with respect to total height of the retaining wall. So K is 0.333, gamma is 18, height is 5.25 square by 2. So we get the total pressure acting on the retaining wall is 82.68 kilonewton. The total pressure acting on the retaining wall is 82.68. Also the value of mu, it is given as 0.5. Okay, so therefore maximum possible frictional force, frictional force is mu into W. So mu is 0.5 and W we will get it from table number 1, that is from stability calculation. So that is 206.67. So we get this as, this is the frictional force or the frictional resistance. So 103.33 kilonewton. Correct. So this is the force acting on retaining wall, and this is the frictional resistance. So therefore you have to check, therefore factor of safety against sliding, therefore FOS against sliding, FOS against sliding is equal to mu into W divided by P. So this is P, I can say it is a pressure, and this is mu into W. So this has 103.33 divided by 82.68. So the factor of safety we got as 1.25, and which is less than 1.5. Means what does it means? The frictional resistance should be more than the horizontal pressure at least 1.5 times. The frictional force should be more than the horizontal earth pressure at least 1.5 times. But here it is less than that. It is less than that. Hence, not safe in sliding. So we have to resist the sliding here because it is not safe in sliding. So we can avoid the sliding. Since the wall is unsafe in sliding, shear key need to be designed. So the shear key will restrict the sliding of retaining wall. Okay. So what will happen generally here? What will happen? Yes, we can see here we have two types of retaining wall. So this is a retaining wall without shear key, and this is the one more element which is added here. This is called as shear key. Okay. So what will happen here? So the pressure P what you have calculated, and the resistance, that is frictional force, it will act in opposite direction. This versus this. So this will act in this direction and this will act in opposite direction. So this is mu into W. So if this pressure is more than this, so what will happen? The wall will slide or it will move. So this has to be resisted. The sliding of the wall has to be resisted by providing a shear key. So this is nothing but a brake. Okay, this is nothing but a brake to avoid sliding. So this is the additional element we need to design to make our wall safe against sliding. So this will avoid the movement of or the sliding of retaining wall. So we need to design this additional element which is called as shear key. Okay, we will continue with that now. So now the intensity of passive earth pressure, developed just in front of shear key. just in front of shear key, that is PP, passive work pressure. PP is Kp into P. So therefore Kp is 1 plus sin phi upon 1 minus sin phi is equal to 3. 1 plus sin phi upon 1 plus sin phi upon 1 minus sin phi. Okay. So now, therefore now we have soil pressure at shear key, soil pressure at shear key from pressure distribution diagram, okay. So here the soil pressure at the face of shear key we have to find out. At the face of shear key from figure. Okay, so we have got it as this at the face of, because we are going to place the shear key here, so we have to find out what is the pressure at this edge. Okay, so this is 30.32 and this x1 we already calculated, that is what it is 39.85. so 30 plus 39.85 we get 69.85. the pressure at the face of the shear key, because we are going to provide shear key here, this is the pressure here, so that is 30.32 plus 69.85. so that is we got the pressure here, it is 30.32 plus 39.85. so we get this as 69.85 kilonewton per meter square. Okay. So therefore PP will be Kp into P. So Kp is Kp into P. So P is 69.85 and Kp is 3. So we get Pp as 209.55 kilonewton per meter square. 209.55 kilonewton per meter square. So now, assuming the depth of shear key as 450 mm, same as the depth of base slab. Okay, so therefore total passive pressure is 209.55 into the area of shear key, that is 0.45 into per meter width. So we get it is 94.29 kilonewton. So what will happen here? So we are providing shear key like this. Understood? We are providing shear key like this. The size of the shear key is here, it is the depth is 0.45 and this will be again 0.45. So the pressure or the force generated, total passive, like this, due to the addition by inserting a shear key, so this we got it is 94.29. so this will resist the force which is acting in this direction. the soil pressure, this will resist, so that is 94.29. Okay. So therefore total force, total force is equal to frictional force plus passive pressure is frictional force plus passive pressure due to summation of W, so that is nothing but mu into W plus P, what you calculate just here, P. That is the P, total passive pressure P. So we get this as 103.33 mu into W, and this we got as 94.29. So we get this as 197.69 kilonewton, 197.69 kilonewton. So this is the total force which is acting in opposite direction. Okay. So therefore factor of safety against sliding after considering the shear key, factor of safety against sliding after provision of shear key. After provision of shear key, it will be FOS is equal to mu into W plus P divided by the lateral earth pressure, horizontal force. This is small p, capital P. So we got this as 197.69 divided by 82.68. So we get this as 2.39, which is more than 1.5, hence safe. So you can see the increase in the force carrying capacity because of provision of shear key, and the factor of safety is increased to 2.39, which is more than 1.5, hence safe in sliding. Okay, so this is end of design of cantilever retaining wall. So regarding the solution of design of cantilever retaining wall, if you get any queries or any doubt, you can contact me. Okay, thank you.